Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Modern Horizons 3. Without further ado, let's get into the Pack 1 Pick 1. A lot of really good uncommons in this pack to choose from. Cursed Wombat has the potential highest upside, where it's really absurd with other adapt cards, but it's also the most narrow. It's going to go into specifically decks with a ton of adapt creatures, and they have to be at least green and black together. Then we have a Noid Altasaur for a really good 2-for-1 in mono-colored, and a Twisted Riddle Keeper, which is what I'm going to take, which is also potentially a mono-colored spell, potentially a blue spell here, but in any Eldrazi ramp deck, because it is completely colorless, it is castable, so really nice cast trigger on this card. It's super good in blue, but it's still potentially playable in non-blue decks if they have a ton of ramp. So I think it's the most flexible out of the powerful spells in that pack, so that is what I will take. For pick number 2, we've got Reiterating Bolt, which is fun. If you've got a lot of energy, then it's quite good, being able to get multiple removal spells off of the one card. The Flare of Cultivation is solid ramp, even without the sack ability. You're grabbing 2 basics, putting one into play tapped and the other into your hand for later. Horrific Assault is solid cheap removal in green. You do have to have a beefy creature on board to cast it, but it's about as good as green removal gets. There's also a Basking Brood Scale, which is a decent adapter, spitting out an Eldrazi spawn, helping you ramp up 2 big Eldrazi. I think all these options are solid. I do kind of like going with the rare here. Some green-blue ramp stuff could be fun. Pick 3, really excellent removal from Ghostfire Slice, but the Galvanic Discharge at common is also quite nice. We've got Eldrazi Repurposer for the best kind of green-blue ramp card out of the pack, if we want to just stick to that for now. But I think these red removal spells are very good, and taking one of them is quite reasonable here. I'll go for the Ghostfire Slice. There are a lot of pretty powerful multicolored permanents, so it's actually surprising the amount of times this might be just 1 mana. And even at 3, of course, it is perfectly worth it. Pick 4, we see nothing for a big Eldrazi ramp deck here. We see a good card for a Reanimator deck with Quest for the Necropolis. Good card for an energy deck with Bespoke Battle Wagon. Maybe trying to push blue-green off of that one. Or sorry, blue-red off of that one. Could be fun. Try out the Battle Wagon. This is like the best consistent energy producer, because most other cards just come with some energy. They can't like repeatedly produce it. The Battle Wagon certainly can. Now for pick 5, maybe actually heading towards blue-white energy, because I've been very impressed by the Riddlegate Gargoyles I've played against. Because there's a lot of beefy creatures in the format, and this can spend some energy to give any creature lifelink till end of turn. So if you have this alongside one of your random big Eldrazi threats, like a Riddle Keeper or something, sometimes you get a big 5 points of life gain off this thing. Plus, you know, just coming with 3 energy being a flying threat is just decent up front, so maybe a little pivot onto some energy nonsense could be fun here. Pick 6, well there we go. Blue-white energy looks perfectly open if we get past a Gargoyle and an Emissary of Soulfire, just another energy producer that can give something exalted. The exalted ability means that when you attack with just one creature alone, it's going to get +1/+1 for all of your creatures with exalted on board. So you can give exalted to whatever you want, as long as that creature is going to stick around. It doesn't matter if that creature is attacking or not, it's going to be buffing your one attacking creature. It's pretty nice in a deck with just like a few big flyers. Then you just have a bunch of exalted stuff on board by paying the energy and putting exalted triggers around, and then you just send in your 1 flyer every turn and it gets pretty beefy. Pick 7, some good energy producers, Electrozoa and Inspired Inventor. The Nyxborn Unicorn is also just a good card in general for getting a lot of stats on board. I feel like Electrozoa hits the synergies the best for us here. Obviously, it's rough if you run out of energy and it just sits there tapped, but the fact that it is a flying attacker, that we can go for a blue-white flyers theme at the same time of doing our blue-white energy theme, seems like exactly what the blue-white decks want. Pick 8, Nyxborn Unicorn is fine to get a bunch of stats on board. Muster the Departed is for a specific deck that has a lot of good different kinds of tokens to try to populate. Don't know about this one. And then Essence Reliquary can let you keep picking up your cards and recasting them, but you have to recast them for the full mana value, so I don't know how good that is. I'm just going to go for the Nyxborn Unicorn there, but maybe I'm not evaluating that reliquary thing highly enough. So I feel like it's only good in games that go long, but a lot of the games in the format could go long. Grab a Dog Umber here for very solid on-color removal. Grab another Electrozoa. A Flying Threat that gives us some energy. It also eats up our energy, which is more awkward, but it's a good Flying Threat. And let's see how pack number 2 goes. Opened up a Ral Monsoon Mage. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, deal damage to you. If you win, you can flip Ral. So not the hardest to flip this Ral. 2 damage as you choose among 2 other permanents, but Ral would immediately die if you haven't plus Ral before. I mean, Ral seems pretty solid. Good enough to buck us off the trend and try to splash a Ral or go blue-red energy. Oh, enters with an additional loyalty for each instant sorcery you've cast this turn. So Ral does start with 3 and does get to immediately do a removal spell thing. I still feel like Royal Cartographer is just so good in energy decks, though. Getting an energy on landfall triggers is just another really good way to produce that energy. And a draw 3 is a huge, huge, huge deal. So that's like a big energy sink as well. I think Royal Cartographer is good enough in energy decks to take that over. Playing around with Ral, trying to be fancy over there. Area Auxiliary is a good flyer. Throw some counters around the board when we drop it. Indebted Spirit also looks fine, but I feel like the Auxiliary is probably a little better for this deck. We are focused up on flyers. Here's Hex Goldsmith for a good aggressive energy card. The Metastatic of Angel could also be good. We get to get 1 energy anytime we play a non-token creature, and if we're putting +1/+1 counters on board, which we're not doing a lot of right now, but once we get a couple more cards like Hex Goldsmith, we might be able to get like an energy and a +1/+1 counter or 2 every time we play a creature. So like if it wheels, by the time it wheels, we might have enough good synergies for it. But I think with only energy right now and 0 +1/+1 counters, we go for the Hex Goldsmith. I mean, I guess there's 2 +1/+1 counters. There's Unicorn and Auxiliary, but not the most consistent. Pick 4. Solstice Zealot looks very reasonable. This Perilous Landscape could be pretty good, though, because it's going to fix us for blue and white, and it's going to give us double landfall triggers for the Royal Cartographer. Yeah, I think if we get a pack that doesn't have any other good little energy producers like Zealot, and we see a landscape in there, we'll slam dunk it, but I don't think we take it over a very solid energy card like Zealot. Pick 5. Angel of the Ruins, like a fine filler top end card, I guess. Probably better than a 3rd Electrozoa. We've got 4 3-drops already. We're doing really well on creature count right now. Looking for more spells, ideally, but there's no spells here. It's all creatures. Pick 6. Oh, no. I mean, there's a great draw spell, Deep Analysis, but it is competing with a really good creature of Glyph Elemental. Landfall triggers put +1/+1 counters on this, and if you bestow this onto something else, then the enchanted creature is getting all the +1/+1s instead of the Glyph Elemental. And then when the enchanted creature dies, you still have the Glyph Elemental around, which gets all those +1/+1 counters from all the lands you've played. Glyph Elemental is just really absurd if you play it turn 2, so I'm going to take that. Pick 7, Serum Visionary works really well with our big Emerge Twisted Riddle Keeper. We can like play this, draw a card, scry 2, and then this is exactly big enough to then emerge our Riddle Keeper the turn after. We do need a colorless source for that though, so maybe we need to start taking landscapes really highly if we're trying to Serum Visionary Emerge combo that out. But there we go, now we can go ahead and take a colorless source. I guess it is competing with Utter Insignificance and Razor Grash Ambush. 2 kind of mediocre removal spell options, but we only have Dog Umber right now for removal. I think I'm still going to go for Landscape, because now we have 2 really good landfall triggers, the Glyph Elemental and the Royal Cartographer, and we have a card that really wants colorless mana, which is the Riddle Keeper if we try to emerge it. So here again, I'll take the Landscape this time over the Petrifying Meddler. Seems like just a fine enter the battlefield effect on that thing. Solid, sturdy card for 5 mana. Ooh, Chrysalis pick 10? Well, we should have been green-red, because Chrysalis is one of the most busted commons in the entire format. Just an entire army in a can, and the Chrysalis gets massive even by itself, but if you have any other Eldrazi stuff, it gets even crazier. There's nothing we're going to play out of that pack anyway, so I'll just hate draft a Chrysalis. I don't really think we're going to be playing Shrieking Drakes. Okay, pack 3, pick 1. What have we here? Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 0/1 spawn. We don't have like any card draw like that. I guess it works with Serum Visionary. We're super lucky it works with Cartographer. Bespoke Battle Wagon? There's a few ways. And it's just a 2-mana 2/1 flyer, which is good stats up front. Is that better than a second Battle Wagon? Or like an Envoy here, we're decent at making modified creatures. Or another Serum Visionary to go with Riddle Keeper. This pack is loaded with options. I want to go pretty deep on energy here. We haven't really done that. Let's go for the Battle Wagon. Big energy. I mean, I guess we've done the Boros aggro energy, but we haven't done like the blue-white. Grinded out Battle Wagon kind of energy combo stuff. Now a Dog Umber looks ideal. We are passing up on Tempest Harvester, Inspired Inventor, and Evangel as decent energy options. But we're still looking for more non-land cards, or sorry, non-creature cards. Pack 3, pick 3. Another Auxiliary looks fine. Perilous Landscape looks great. How does Reclamation look? That actually looks real strong. Like when you flash it back and get 2 things back. Reclamation might be worth taking over Landscape. It's obviously only castable late in the game, but it's a really good draw late game. It's not blue, is it? It is not blue. So we have Decree of Justice, which is only castable super, super late in the game. Or another Auxiliary. Grab another Auxiliary here. Pick 5. Alright, well I can't resist. Triple Battle Wagon. Battle House. There's also Defiler. Defiler's probably better than a 3rd Battle Wagon, but 3 Battle Wagon is super cool. Look at that artwork. That's some Howl's Moving Castle nonsense right there. Pick 6. Random Energy Doofus. Inspired Inventor it is. I don't really like either of these cards too much. 5 artifacts, 4 enchantments, though. That's 9 cards we could draw off the Rose Cod. I've already got 1 in the deck, though. I'll try out the Demon Furrier, since we're low on non-creatures. Little bounce removal spell. Pick 8. Another Hexgold Slith looks super fine. Also, Jolted Awake actually looks okay for the deck with the amount of energy we have. But I'm going to go for the Slith. Zealots versus Slith. I like both of these a lot. I feel like Zealot's a little better because it's super cheap to keep a big thing locked down, but Landscape is also super, super good for this deck because the landfalls and the colorless Riddle Keeper. We've already got a good count of 3 drops. Even if I could improve them by like cutting Inspired Inventor for another Solstice Zealot by making that pick. I would prefer to improve the number of colorless sources for Riddle Keeper now at 3 for chances to emerge it. Because this is a deck that doesn't have a lot of ramps, so we really want to emerge it ideally. Probably sacking like an Electrozoa that we don't want to pay the energy for anymore. Another Inspired Inventor's fine. Expel the Unworthy is like not terrible, but giving your opponent the life gain is not super good. You know, I guess I could still play like Deceptive and Sheltering Landscapes over Plains in this deck, just to really make sure we can actually remove I don't know where that came from. Make sure we can actually emerge the Riddle Keeper. And like if we've already cast the Riddle Keeper or we just need white and we haven't got it yet, we just crack them. It's probably worth it. We are just cutting 3 cards out of this deck. We're on a 19 creature count. 7 non-creatures, including some vehicles. They're somewhat like creatures. These are really hard to crew though, so they're kind of like just value engines sitting there. I'm not going to count them one for one as creatures, but we could just remove 3 creatures here. That's probably where we want to be. So we look pretty low curve, pretty aggressive. I don't think we want the 7-drop Angel. And I might want to cut one of these Electrozoas, because if we have them in multiples, it's a lot easier to run out of energy. I kind of like just running like 2 of those, and then Inspired Inventor are the most mediocre of the 3 drops, because the rest of them are like, get at least 2 energy, but also just have a better body than just a 2/2 sitting there. Right? Like, here's 3 energy and a great way to spend it. Here's 2 energy and a pretty good way to spend it. 2 energy and you need to spend it to keep these around. Yeah, I think those are all just better than the Inventors. Those are ending up kind of filler, and yeah, it looks perfect to me. Just cut those. Oh, I cut too many cards. Never mind, we put 1 back in. 1 Electrozoa or 1 Inspired Inventor, I guess. Did I cut any non-lands? No. So I guess I slightly prefer another Electrozoa to an Inventor here, just so we can really get some absurd flying curves potentially and try to just kill our opponent before we run out of energy for these things. Just all unblockable stuff. And maybe like the Battle Wagon energy production is enough to just not even worry about it. With triple Electrozoa, well, we've got triple Battle Wagon to more than pay for those. Yeah, looks very solid to me. Let's double check our mana base, which is 13-11, pretty close to an even split. This is both colors. It's just white, and that's both colors. So that's 7/7, and then 3 of each. That is the perfect mana base. We will call it a deck here. All right, here's like the final deck list for today. We're on a blue-white energy deck, a blue-white flyers deck. Kind of the same thing in the format, because a lot of the good blue-white energy cards are flyers as well. Cards like Electrozoa to just hit the board early as really high power evasive threats to sneak in for a lot of damage. The Riddlegate Gargoyle comes with some energy you can use to get some life-linking swings to outrace your opponent, since neither player is going to do a lot of blocking if all you have is flyers. And outside of that, we've got some really sweet premium uncommons for the archetype as well. Emissary of Soulfire can get some exalted counters all over the board, so when we're attacking with just 1 flyer at a time, we're getting a bunch of damage in with it. The Bespoke Battle Wagon makes sure we basically never run out of energy and never run out of things to do with that energy. Royal Cartographer is another excellent energy producer, and we just have some really good aggressive cards, like a couple Hex Gold Slits that are pretty hard to block, Glyph Elementals that just keep getting bigger and bigger, and some Area Auxiliaries to buff up the board when they hit it. So really nice looking blue-white flyers / energy deck with a lot of spicy little things going for it, so I'm excited to see how it does as we head into the gameplay. Here we are on the play for game 1. We need to top deck 1 land in the first 2 draw steps, and we're on a 45% chance of drawing a land right now, and then it'll be at a slightly higher than a 45 next turn. So basically, I need to win 1 coin flip out of 2 to be in the game. Well, we've got a really good start if we do win one of those coin flips. 2 Electrozoas in a row. And then we have the Battle Wagon to make sure we don't run out of the energy for them. Yeah, I really like the idea of trying to just slam 6 power worth of flyers on the board. That is a fast clock. We've got to hit the land, though. This game is probably going to be pretty decided on whether or not we hit a land early or not. Uh-oh. Our opponent has a lifelinker immediately. Not technically a lifelinker, but this is a really busted rare. So they gain 1 life and get an energy for every creature they play. And when they attack, if they have 3 or more energy, they get to turn something into a Flying Angel. It gets 2 +1/+1 counters and permanently gains flying. Yeah, this card is stronger individually than any card in our deck. so we're already behind. That thing is just absurd. And they're on Boros Energy, which is an aggressive archetype that's going to play a lot of creatures and get a lot of triggers off of that. Plus, they're going to have creatures that enter the battlefield with some energy. So if they just play like a single Hex Gold Slith, they immediately have 3 energy, and now this is a 3/4 flyer, just demolishing my soul. Luckily, it looks like they kept a hand with not a lot of super cheap creatures. It's probably just like cheap removal or something here, which I'm actually pretty happy with, that they spend the discharge right now instead of waiting for my turn, because that means I just get to keep the energy. They could have waited till after I tried to declare an attack, and then I would have had to spend the energy to keep it around. I could just reclaim an Electrozoa post-combat, I guess. That's kind of cute. Then I have a double reclamation at the ready later. I don't hate it, but flash might be good here. We could try to get a flash kill on this Guide of Souls because it is such a big deal. Yeah, let's try to get the flash kill here. Stop them from putting 2+1/+1 counters and flying onto that thing permanently, and we just get to keep all this energy for other stuff. Feels good. Now we can start doing reclamations. Is the 3/1 flyer our best threat right now? I believe it is. So let's reclaim post-combat so it stays untapped. In case they haste out like a Conduit Goblin or something. Actually, Conduit Goblin itself doesn't have haste. That's Boros' common. It's a red and a white. It comes with 2 energy. They can spend the energy to give something else haste. But not itself. Reiterating Bolt. Fair enough. I'll just keep all this random energy that we got off these enter the battlefield effects. And then we've got Battle Wagon for the late game to get ahead just by drawing a ton of cards. But for now, I think while they have nothing to do, we just keep putting the best stats on the board that we can, which is probably Hex Gold Slith this turn, weirdly enough. I'm gonna guess Battle Wagon can attack as a 5/6 if I spend a bunch of energy on it. I could Dog Umbra, or I can just Emissary for Exalted. And then I still have an attack here. I'm just going to Emissary for Exalted. Put the Exalted counter on the Emissary itself, so that if the Slith dies during combat, we still have an Exalted counter. But I love just having 9 energy sitting there for later. That's so sweet. Immediately play a card, or play Battle Wagon, draw a card off of it the second it hits the board, stuff like that. Amped Raptor. Alright, they could spend 6 energy here. So they could cast a 6-drop, and they do have an Emissary. Off the splash, they got to cast it without spending blue because of the Amped Raptor. That's a pretty lucky hit, actually. They get to play their splash card without the splash color. Oof, the Static Prison as well. There goes our Emissary. Here comes 2 Power Charge Bug thanks to the Exalted counter. Reclamation double Electrozoa. They're not particularly good blockers, and I'm kind of now to the point where I'm wanting to be on blocks here. I think I just played Rose-Caught Knight. Rose-Caught Knights are just our Battle Wagon captains in this deck. They're just here to pick up more Battle Wagons. Shove them in the hand. It would be perfect if they could crew them as well, but it's crew 4. So it's not the perfect analogy, but that's what they're digging for. Alright, well, you need to cast a spell to kill the knight, so go for it. There's the spell to kill the knight. Fair enough. I was already going to kill our other creature anyway. 6 mana, we drop a Battle Wagon, And a Dog Umbra. Sure. Threaten to have a 5/6 on blocks. I probably should have read this thing. They get a Spell Gorger weird. Okay, so we're gonna get another creature out of this. They're also gonna draw a card this turn, but they have to play it this turn. There's the blue source for their own battle wagon. Alright. Literally the mirror match. Arena matchmaking is purely ranked based in ranked formats, they say. There is no deck-based matchmaking, they claim. Then why do I play against energy when I play energy and play against green-black when I play green-black? Conspiracy theory time? It is just like an annoying bit of circumstance. Because I would prefer, I don't really like mirror matches, so I would prefer to always be playing against like different archetypes, but I feel like I get into a lot of mirror matches for some reason. A lot of similar decks. Unfortunately, because that was summoning sick, I didn't get to draw the card and make the block there. Just Battle Wagon again. It's funny. Battle Wagon team, let's go. And then we just start grinding this out with 2 Electrozoas hitting in while they can't get in through the Battle Wagons. Probably the play. Ooh. I get me energy back. Cycle a landscape to draw a card. Drop a land. Fanged Flames. Okay, so they were just going to exile it, but I still got 3 energy off of it coming back onto the board, which is nice. So the Battle Wagon still has a bunch of really good abilities, even if it can't attack or block, so I think I'm just going to Dog Umbra the 3/3. I kind of, I guess, Dog Umbred my own card to save it from dying there, which is cute. I will take 1 damage. I'm not going to spend 8 energy to kill a charge bug. Alright, so they're out of stuff. But we are just getting started. Woo! Cartographer, Crack a Landscape still have Electrozoa up. This is cute. It's probably best to have just Reclamation for max damage right now. But I am just an absolute value goblin. I want to get just infinite energy. All right, here we go. Infinite energy time. My god, yeah, these things tap creatures too. These things can stun them out of the game as well. They do the Zealot thing. Costs a little more to tap things with them than it does with Zealot, though. Oh, I guess I can main phase 1 Reclamation, because it happens at the start of the pre-combat main phase, not at the start of combat. That you have to pay the energy. Let's see what I hit. Woo! We are just going all the way to Value Town. This is wild. I want to have the 5 up for Reclamation, so we play a Gargoyle then. I feel so rude here, because I don't even know what, like, the right plays are right now. There's just... every play is so good. We have so much value. And our opponent has, like, basically nothing. Yeah, Reclamation's kind of sweet in this deck. We have a lot of 3 mana value less creatures. Getting it on the triple Electrozoa this game, absolutely nasty. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 power in the sky, 12, 13 once we play Auxiliary. Can't quite threaten lethal in the sky next turn, but we can get very close. You got me, little Slith friend. Well, do you? I have 10 energy. I probably just eat this thing for free because they don't have anything that's going to kill this. They just make me spend some energy on this and then tap it with Battle Wagon, worst case scenario, but then I just activate the other one and eat the Slith. Yeah, they're over it. This is ridiculous. Maybe triple Battle Wagon is actually the correct choice, because it looks like they do actually play pretty well in multiples. So, I don't know. But I'm pretty excited for future games with this deck now. Started just being like, this looks cool, this looks good, but now I am very interested in seeing how these future games play out. We are 1-0 heading into game 2. Alright, here we are on the play for game 2. I mean, we have both of our colors and we have good spells. We don't have anything proactive to do, but we can stay alive till we drop a Battle Wagon and hope that that can grind out a long game well. I don't love the idea or the hand, but I think it's not bad enough to mulligan because the spells are decent even if the plan isn't great. And the mana is certainly good. The mana is here. It is all set up. And there we go. Now we get to actually start on turn 2. Not with the most exciting card ever, just a 2-mana 2/2 with no abilities at this point. But it's something. Propagator Drone. That's pretty gross. But so is Glyph Elemental. That makes our Nyxborn Unicorn's Mentor ability actually relevant, potentially. So this Propagator Drone, the problem with it is that Dog Umber doesn't matter against it, because it just has really good abilities. It's making all of the Eldrazi spawn get bigger every time they play any creature, pretty much. Alright, exile the Unicorn. I still have a 3/3 Glyph Elemental, so we are good with that. Glyph Elemental's still gonna put in work here. Boom, they are down to 13 already. We drew really well this game. The only real issue with our hand was the lack of early game action, and we just hit a good turn 2 and turn 3 play, just exactly what you want with the rest of those cards we had. Alright, I don't have a bunch of random energy sitting around to eat the Propagator Drone for free this time. Alright, Electrozoa. Well, now I could Electrozoa surprise block with Battle Wagon. That's kind of spicy. Plus I can Electrozoa and still have a Dog Umbra up. We can use a Dog Umbra just to save something from dying if we want to. I suppose I also had the option of playing the Electrozoa and using the energy to create the Battle Wagon just to hit for 5 more there. But then I'd be out of energy, so the Electrozoa would be tapped next turn. No, I could respond to its ability by getting energy out of Battle Wagon before we have to pay. Laelia. Alright, so we Dog Umbra Laelia for sure. And probably do try to surprise block the Propagator Drone with Battle Wagon, because we can do that and then still have 2 energy left over because I can tap the Battle Wagon post blocks. And they don't attack at all, though. Okay. Then we might want to try to do some tapping to get the kill. We can tap one thing. Yeah, we can tap the whole board. We can win here. So we can Electrozoa. We tap one thing now. Tap one thing next turn and Dog Umber the other, and they have no blocks and they take 8. Ooh, I guess I'm actually 1 energy off from tapping both things. Shoot. Yeah, I forgot, since I have to spend an energy on Electrozoa, I can't tap a thing and attack with Electrozoa. I guess I just hit them with Glyph Elemental here. Dang. Yeah, we put them to 1 life still. If I do it this way. Yeah, that was a bad miscount. If I counted correctly, I might not have done all the tapping stuff and tried to just get some big attacks that force some chumps here, but at this point, I'm like in for a penny, in for a pound. I already spent and tapped the drone and stuff. I could have, if I realized this wasn't going to be lethal because I didn't have enough energy for Electrozoa, I could have set things up to where they would have had to chump block with Propagator Drone so we could deal with that card. And that probably would have been better. Hit them a little less hard, but force them to lose Propagator Drone. Attack with both creatures kind of thing. There's the Stump Stomp on the flyer. So they're just going to need to chump block Glyph Elemental every turn, but they can do it off of Propagator Drone's ability alone, so we got to top deck into something. The land is certainly not something. So they make a spawn and chump block here. I guess I can still play this and make it an 8/8, because I don't have any discard spells in this deck, right? And they're not on black to have any discard either. I don't know. Untapped.gg is not working, so I cannot check my deck list right now. All right. I feel like it's better to force them to chump than it is to just not attack here. Like, I guess we don't take anything on the crackback, but if I'm not attacking in, they're just getting a really, really wide board of chumpers. But maybe because we have so many flyers in the deck, it's fine to just hold off and buy time to draw into a flyer. Oh, shoot. Okay, well now we're definitely not attacking. Titan's Vanguard was an incredible draw here. That is huge damage. Put themselves dead to top deck removal if they attack me at all here. Alright. We got some live draws. We top deck our bounce thingy and they're dead. That is not our bounce thingy, but it is a flyer, which is still definitely good. Do I force them to chump block with Titan's Vanguard? And then take 7 on the crackback, or do I just hold off here? I might just hold off here, because then I can have enough energy to crew the Battle Wagon with energy next turn. And if things look particularly scary, I could tap something with Battle Wagon when they move to combat, like if they play another Haster or something, or they blow up one of my creatures. I was tempted to put a counter on one of their dog-umbered creatures because it would be funny, but there's a slight chance that blows up in my face. There is main deckable enchantment removal in this format. Alright, they just can't even deal with the flyer, so we don't have to worry about any more thoughts. Head empty time. We are 2-0 heading into game 3. All right, here we are for game 3 with a very nice hand energy-wise. The most important part. And we've got a reclamation too. Could be really sweet because we've got some definite targets for removal. The Hex Goldsmith and the Cartographer. Both going to be sketchy. Oh my god, we could go all in on Glyph Elemental instead of Cartographer, or we can play Cartographer for energy. I think we go damage here. Just go for a huge early game lead. Get that life total low. Again, even if they blow up this Hex Goldsmith, this Glyph Elemental is already a 3/3 attacker next turn. Okay, don't have another land for Cartographer here, so we can just flash in an Electrozoa. Or we could reclaim a Hex Goldsmith, that might be decent too. I don't hate it. But I think I'm going to go for the flashed in Electrozoa in the end step. It's a lot more likely to hit them, because they've got 4 mana to play a blocker that can stop a 2/1. Should be easy enough. Alright, there's their own Glyph Elemental. I think they already played land for turn, luckily, so they don't get any counters on it. Here's Electrozoa. Go to our turn. We need Serum Visionary to find a land for multiple reasons. There we go. It finds a lot of lands, so that's the colorless source we need for Riddle Keeper as well. Actually, kind of technically all the mana we need, but I still want to draw more lands. I've got a bunch of good landfall triggers and stuff, so I'll take all this. Take all the land I can get. The only thing that's slightly awkward about this is I'm not going to crack the landscape because I want to draw these lands next turn. Right, if I crack the landscape, I shuffle the deck, and I don't know if I draw a colorless source to be able to emerge the Riddle Keeper anymore. Spawn Gang Commander, that is quite a few blockers on the ground, and they can shoot my Electrozoa. Also got a very loud ability there. Or enter the battlefield noise. So they could sack all 3 Eldrazi spawn to kill this Electrozoa. But then there goes all 3 Eldrazi spawn. I think, because they have to sack all the spawn to kill Electrozoa, I actually Riddle Keeper, tapping the commander and the elemental. Like, I'm tempted to just tap some lands here. But we get the Glyph Elemental to maybe get in. Well, no we don't, right? Because if I attack with Glyph Elemental, they chump it with a 0/1 and respond by sacking all of them to kill Electrozoa anyway. Yeah, no, so we still just Riddle Keeper some lands. Like the green source and a red source here, I guess. Yeah, I think that's the play. And then this Riddle Keeper kills them in 2 swings. That's the plan. So here they kill Electrozoa and chump Glyph Elemental in the same turn, but then they're out of Eldrazi spawn to do that with again next turn. Which I guess doesn't matter, because there's not another 2 toughness creature for them to kill next turn. But we've cleared out all their chump blocking Eldrazi spawn this way. Okay, I don't think I need the plains badly enough to not fetch with this land. So I will fetch with this one. Another Electrozoa, not a bad draw at all. 5 mana. Cast a Cartographer and still cast that. Seems decent. Plus I can cast Cartographer and have the option of reclaiming We're cracking landscape as well. But I think I'm just going to Electrozoa. Alright, they're going to have to kill multiple things to not die here. The most important being Riddle Keeper. They can chump the Glyph Elemental. I guess technically if all they do is kill Riddle Keeper, they chump Elemental and take 4. They're not quite dead that way, regardless. So I actually don't attack with Cartographer then, because it doesn't threaten lethal. If they kill Riddle Keeper anyway. Or just put them to 1 instead of 2. It's a pretty spicy turn, but I can crack a land to keep Glyph Elemental around at least. Okay, I'm gonna go for the Battle Wagon here. They have no creatures on board, so just a big 5/6 on the ground is good enough. Plus I can tap one of their creatures. I can tap 2 of their creatures, actually. It makes it really hard for them to establish any blocks whatsoever. There's 1 blocker and 1 removal spell. That is not enough, because Battle Wagon is sweet, and we are now 3-0, heading into Game 4. Alright, here we are for Game 4. This is our first hand we've had to mulligan. Feels sad, though. I don't think we can take that gamble on drawing the white source. Just casting a single Electrozoa and hope. I mean, how many white sources are in the deck? Oh yeah, untap doesn't work. 9? Because there's 2 that are blue and white, and then there were 7 blue and 7 white. 9 out of 33. Go 1 and 3. Any land gets us to Electrozoa. We really need the white source in the first 2 draw steps. It's like a 33% chance. That's rough. Eh, whatever. I'll do a little gambling. Because we never didn't have it. And now this hand has guaranteed worked better than pretty much any 6-card hand would. Opponent's on the Priest of Titania ramp. Very threatening if they manage to get a bunch of other elves. But there's not a ton in the format. So usually it just taps for 1. And it's fine. Alright. We're going to have to be on Team Electrozoa here, because there is no way we are breaking through with this Hexgold Slith on the ground. So we're just going to use its energy to help support the team of Electrozoas that'll be coming in the sky. Oh. Wow. Alright, well, opponent's doing a really good job just completely locking off my attacks right now. A first striking flyer against my 1 toughness flyers is a big deal. We're going to have to get a Nyxborn Unicorn onto an Electrozoa to be able to declare an attack. I think I still need to be mana efficient and get this onto the board, but I might just let it get tapped here, because it doesn't attack or block well on the board unless I put a Nyxborn Unicorn on it. Don't really want to do that for the turn. I guess it's fine to do so, but I could also just cast an Auxiliary. It's pretty good too, and that'll just already be a good enough flyer. Yeah, I'm going to not pay here. I'm going to decline and then cast Auxiliary. The biggest argument for going Unicorn over Auxiliary here would be just waiting to Auxiliary until I had 2 Electrozoas on board. For 2, like, super relevant cards. I could send in a first striking Slith, but they could just chump with Repurposer and get another spawn out of it. Or chump with the spawn if they don't need the mana. Either is not very good for me. I'm just going to make sure I always have enough energy for the Electrozoas whenever I do want to attack with them. Oh boy. They can make an 8/8 flying first strike a trampler. And we're going to have to find a way to beat that, which will be very difficult. I mean, we hit for 10 in the sky 2 turns in a row. We forced them to hold the Phantom back as a blocker next turn by putting Unicorn on Electrozoa. It's gonna be quite a race here. I don't think we win the race, but we'll see. It'd be close. Boom, they're down to 10. Supposed to keep the colorless source in case we top deck our one colorless spell. Mayhaps. Probably more supposed to like thin the deck. Try to draw into like a Dog Umber or something. Dog Umber would be game winning. We need something that can stop a Trampler from attacking at instant speed. I guess all 3 copies of our Battle Wagon work as well. Let's tap the whatever the Dreadmaw's on. Whatever the Dread Mask is on. Actually. Up 3 damage here. Yes, this isn't going to block any better, and it's also not going to do any attacking. I don't love giving them the spawn. But we're under an immense amount of life total pressure. Okay, well... Thraben Charm for the auxiliary. Surprised they don't kill the Electrozoa. That must mean they also have removal for that. They're just gonna like blow up the Unicorn at instant speed to eat it with first strike. And then it really didn't matter what we did at that point. Well, if they didn't have removal, we'd have the kill here. But they unfortunately did. Alright, show me your second Thraben Charm to blow up Unicorn and eat my Electrozoa. And I'll be very sad. That's not what I thought it was, but it is just as bad. Disappointing. I feel like we're pretty locked out of it here. I mean, our colorless Eldrazi thing could still win the game. The double stun is huge. Shouldn't have opened my mouth. Alright, well, very, very solid hand from our opponent. And I just don't think there's any counterplay to that one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have to jump, but I'm technically still alive. To see what we've got off the top. But I don't think there is anything that matters here. Especially because I don't have the creature to emerge even if I do draw my colorless spell now. So I think we actually just crack this, because even if I draw the colorless card, I can't cast it, so... Visionary. 3 life. Let's see. Okay. They move to combat, we flash an Electrozoa, and that's basically 3 blockers. We can chump, chump, and stun, and take 4. That is still very dead. Yeah. We don't have any way to play around that. Just get slammed by the beefy stuff. Just a matchup where we needed card removal for the gigantic potential threats. Really, the Dog Umber is going a long way there. Or if we could have found the Battle Wagon earlier to outrace, but we did not have interaction in the opener. We just had our own spells, so their beefier creatures destroy our board. And their really efficient interaction was super rough. If neither player had interaction, we would slightly outrace them, but they had the interaction and we did not, and so we lose the game. We are 3-1 heading into game 5. All right, here we are for game number 5. We're 3-1 right now. This looks like a solid start. We do need to top deck a land. If we hit just one land, we've got a lot of spells to choose from. Obviously, ideally, we keep hitting lands with a card like Glyph Elemental in hand. Hold up. No, I kind of have to just landscape for white immediately. I was thinking if it would be worth just waiting, because I probably don't want to play Glyph Elemental till turn 3 anyway when I've drawn a third land. So then if my next turn I draw exactly a Plains, then I would just play a Plains and not use landscape. So I could play a land and crack a landscape turn 3. I guess I can still do that if I top deck Plains right now. Okay, we didn't. We can play Royal Cartographer if they can't kill that. Yeah, I think we just got punished for not cracking it at that point. Because now I'm going to have to crack it on a turn I'd actually cast something. Well, if I don't hit a third land at all, then it's not really punished, because I still wouldn't want to play Glyph Elemental without another land drop. This is just punished for the keep, not punished for the landscape play. It's rough, though. We have lost our first couple coin flips on our land draws. All right, what about coin flip 3? Will we hit a land this turn? Arena had to show me there was an island on top. Oh, why, Arena? Well, you had a land. You shuffled it away, you fool. Thanks, Arena. Appreciate it. I want to Electrozo into Cartographer. It's probably a fine trade because it's going to take us so long to get the energy anyway. And I think we actually split up the Elemental and the Cartographer so that they are both bodies that matter. If I just put an Elemental on a Cartographer without having any more land drops, then it does not matter at all. Oh boy. Whenever we cast a colorless spell, they get an Eldrazi spawn. Colorless creatures enter, they get to deal 1 to each opponent. Alright. Well, this sucks, because I think this keep was just 100% correct. Multiple really good spells. We had a good 2-drop with the mana to cast it. 2-landers are definitely slightly risky, but more often than not with powerful spells at 2 and 3 mana, you're supposed to just keep them. We just did not draw any lands. We hit a 4-drop and a 5-drop instead so far. So, it happens. We had a 4-drop, 5-drop, and a 3-drop. I think these were the draws, these 3. But we drew 4 cards. We drew Cartographer in these 3 at this point. 4 draw steps with no land. Come to think of it. Super brutal. Make it 5. Do I discard Reclamation for whenever I make it to 5 mana? Because at this point I'm going to hit like a land clump at some time. And I have so many options in my hand, I don't need to try to reclaim something from grave. No, probably not, because Reclamation can get another land. Reclamation can ramp me. So So I think I have to hold it. We just ditched the 5-drop then. Right, any land would be like play a land, play reclamation, pick up landscape. Landfall triggers are going crazy, and I have enough mana to actually do things at that point. Because this is any permanent with mana value 3 or less. That does include lands. And we are super, super desperate at this point. Alright, we weren't under a lot of pressure on basically any previous turn, but now Propagator Drone Writhing Chrysalis combo has locked us out of the game. Now that there's no chance at victory, we will probably top deck the land for comedic relief. Yeah, let's go. Well, keeping a 2-lander and missing 5 land drops in a row is a way to lose pretty much any game. Don't think there was anything we could do on that one. I think it was a very reasonable keep. Variance just happens. We are 3-2 heading into game 6. All right, wow, this is the full flip around. I would really hate to see a 3-0 into an 0-3, but Arena seems like it wants it right now. It wants blood from us. So I have 2 draw steps. No, I have 3 draw steps because I'm on the draw. I have 3 draw steps to hit a white source to start things turn 3. So it isn't the most unreasonable keep ever, but because I need a specific color, not just any land draw for the hand to be good, probably still take the mulligan. Plus we have like some good 2-drops and it doesn't start on turn 2 even. Take the mulligan on that one, and there we go. Now we've got the 2-drop to start things on turn 2. We have some interaction. Probably ditch the auxiliary and keep the battle wagon as the 4-drop. Hard choice, but we get rid of a 4-mana spell here. I think we get rid of auxiliary. Because by the time I cast it, I'd only have 1 creature to put a counter on anyway. Okay. I think I want to keep this landscape. If we draw any of our landfall cards, it'll be a double trigger, and we have a card that needs colorless mana. Our big Emerge Eldrazi. Our deck is much better at emerging it and sacking something than it is at hard casting it, and there it is. So our opponent can proliferate when any creature hits the board, so any +1/+1 counter shenanigans. Oh no, double shield counter. That's super annoying.
Together, we are unstoppable.
Thanks for the follow, whoever that was. Got the follow alert on the recording thing. Yeah, double shield counter on the Evangel. Very good choice, too, because I have the Dog Umbra, where I can shut off something's ability to attack or block, but I can't shut off its abilities. So now, like, I could Dog Umbra this thing, that they don't have, like, a shield counter thing, but then it's going to sit there using its ability forever anyway, which is still real bad. I already feel like I've just been wombo comboed out of the game. Slith is useless against these blockers, so I just pass. Holding up an Umbra, I guess? Can I emerge multiple creatures? Sacrificing a creature and paying the emerge cost. Okay, so I can't play another Slith and sack both towards Riddle Keeper. So Riddle Keeper's what? 7 minus 2, so 5 mana? I guess I'm at 4 out of 5 mana in hand here towards Riddle Keeper. So Battle Wagon next turn, Riddle Keeper the turn after. Yeah. I can just play a Slith for now. We still have a reasonable plan. It's just a bummer that the Sliths are kind of useless. At least they gave us energy for Battle Wagon. That could be a big deal. Ooh, get very punished for not holding up Dog Umbra. These are useless enough to just get rid of some shield counters, I think. Well, because they proliferate every time they play a creature, unless I'm getting rid of both shield counters, it really doesn't matter. And the way that damage works is even if I multi-block, I get rid of 1 shield counter. I guess I still stopped 4 damage, but at that point I just stopped 5, right? Because they're so likely to be able to just put more shield counters on it. Yeah. Well, that was bad. Looks like, in hindsight, 100% should have held up Dog Umber if we knew exactly what was in their hand. Battle Wagon, tap the Rhino. Or just Dog Umber the Rhino. I think I Battle Wagon, tap the Rhino. Plane Cycle and Angel of the Ruins. There's an Envoy. Oh my god, they have 9 power of lifelink now? Games are just not close in this format very often, are they? I feel like we just crushed 3-0 from the start. And now it's just like, here's some real bad mana draws, and then here's Wombo Combo Dream Team Unstoppable Curve. Thanks for playing. Guess I can't attack with Riddle Keeper this turn, so I might as well send in the Slith. Ooh, they should proliferate my stun counters. That'd be nice. They did not proliferate my stun counters. Classic, just gain 5,000 life again. Well, I mean, we could have Dog Umbered instead of playing a Slith. But this is ridiculous. This looks unwinnable. Sure. Might as well have a 6/6 trample lifelink on top of it all at this point. That's something. I guess there's really nothing in the grave for that right now. It's just some Sliths. And we still use it. I mean, I have to just tap the Trampler and chump, right? At 6 life. But I guess I could double block the 6/6 Trampler if I crew the Battle Wagon using energy. We double block the Germ and we chump the Evangel, but then they can just move the Dread Mask to something else anyway. I'm not really dealing with the problem itself. Block with Slith for more energy off Reclamation. We just pick up double Slith here. If I fail to find anything, and we failed to find anything. They're at 42 life, by the way. Oh boy. Oh, now everything has trample. Well, probably GG, right? 14. Can I stop? Out of this 14, I can stop 6 for sure, because I can tap something with Battle Wagon. But I can't tap something with Battle Wagon and block something with Battle Wagon, because I have to tap it to tap something. So 10 trample damage against 4 toughnesses, I take exactly 6 and die. Whether I crew Battle Wagon to block something or tap something. So, we're just dead if they attack with everybody. If they attack with just those two, I can barely survive off of crewing Battle Wagon instead of tapping something. Because I had to wait to see how they attacked here, right? Because if I went to tap something and then they attacked with the other two, I would just be dead. But this way, I let them choose to just attack with 2 creatures, and then I'm slightly alive. To top deck something in a deck that doesn't have any bombs that win a game like this, but still. 4 or 5 damage go to 1. Oh, I should have gotten 2 energy. I clicked too fast. We could have gotten 2 more energy before the Battle Wagon died, but we don't have enough to like draw a card off of it or anything super important. Alright, that's mega dead. Well, kind of just the dream wombo combos from our opponent there. The really big one being a Vangel Rhino, getting things started. Double shield counter on that thing. We're never removing any because they just keep re-adding them. It's kind of matchup that seems basically unwinnable without like -X removal, exile removal kind of stuff to get through these shield counters. That Evangel was just so safe to take over the game. Yeah, pretty big bummer. Pretty big bummer. I absolutely hate win streaks into lose streaks. It is the worst feeling in the game. But it happens. Our first loss was a pretty standard loss, right? We had a little bit of a back and forth there. We just got outplayed a little. Got beaten out by the slightly better deck. Like, first loss was fine. But our second loss was just unwinnable land draws, just missed 5 lands in a row. And then the final loss was just magical Christmas land for that green-white modified deck. I mean, great deck for sure, but what a blowout hand there. And just a really good matchup for that kind of hand, because we don't have any removal that matters against good abilities, because we just have the Umbras where the abilities are still on the board. We don't have any destroy a creature, exile a creature kind of removal. And even if we had destroy a creature removal, to be fair, after they got the shield counter, would have been too late for that. So just a crazy wild hand from them. But to be fair, as I kind of said, after the start of that last loss, that last game that we were losing, it really feels like almost every game today was just a completely one-sided, right? Because the games we won, we had like just... First game we won, we had like 1,000,000 cards in hand against 0, and then the second one was just like we were way ahead in life total and just stuff like that. Like, these games were just not super close today for the most part. There was like 1 close loss and 1 close victory, but a lot of steamrolling going around, a lot of not super duper interactive games. So, I don't know. Still think this deck is very strong, so I'm sad to see it go 3-3. I would have loved to play some more games with it, but that's still an average record. That's not horrific or anything. I just want to play more games with it because it was a very fun deck, and huge overperformer goes to the Battle Wagon. I'm very happy I got to play with this card quite a bit today because I'd seen it in a lot of packs previously and just never decided to go after an energy deck like that, and I think Battle Wagon is a really good piece for these energy decks. It just gives you so much energy if you have anything good to spend it on. Plus, the ability to tap creatures down is good. The ability to draw cards is good. Sometimes it can get those surprise kills on blocks. That was consistently pretty good. And we also had like the really fun bomb rare, the Savine's Reclamation, was very, very good as well. That did a lot of work every game that we drew it in. I guess it didn't do too much work in the final game because we were just so far behind, but it was still good there. So I enjoyed that as well, as I did the Riddle Keeper. I think that played super fine here, so it was a fine pack one pick one. It ended up in the deck, and it ended up playing well. So solid deck overall, which makes this a slightly disappointing result at 3-3, but not the end of the world. Still a 50-50 win rate at least. We're not in the negatives or anything. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below, and if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.